Hey, good morning. July 31st. Can't believe it's at the end of July. I think I said that yesterday. And, hey, it's the end of July. About to start August, so I guess we ought to accept it. But uh, yeah, it's gone by fast. Good to see you guys though this morning, and hope you're doing well. We have Watanga coming up tonight. So excited about getting out to Watanga. And like I said yesterday, lots of great connections out that way, and can't wait to reconnect with everyone. So if you're in the area, come by. It's going to be at the let me just double check the location here. I thought I had this pulled up, but I think it's at the VFW. Let's double check. No, it's at the American Legion, I think. Yeah, American Legion building, 306 South Noble, Watanga, 6:30 tonight. So hope to see you there. Going to have just a town hall, inviting the whole community out. Going to do some question and answers, talk about the campaign and what's happening there. Good morning, Julie. Good to see you. But good things are moving along. Went out and we finalized the location for Oklahoma Rising Chickasha. Just yesterday, went out and generous donor out there said, we love the vision, we believe in it, and he has offered his 40 acres for us to meet on, and it's going to be an incredible time. So make plans, mark it on your calendar, September 6th, 6:30. You can just record OU Michigan, just watch it later, it'll be okay. But we're going to celebrate freedom, and we're going to talk about how to maximize freedom here in Oklahoma and return power and control to the people. That's what it's really about. But September 6th, it's going to be a big day, Chickasha. And then we will plan on Altus from there, Elk City, Woodward, Guyman, and then make our way around to Enid. And if I remember right, Stillwater, Bartlesville, McAllister, Ardmore, Hugo. So going to make the rounds, starting with Chickasha, and that's coming up. So hope to see you out there. But tonight is Watanga, 6:30 at the, what did I say, American Legion building. American Legion. I don't know if you guys have gotten enough of the Ryan Walters story. I haven't checked the news this morning to see if there's been any conclusive findings, but in the process, let's pray and then let's focus on solutions. So I don't spend a lot of time in the sensational news focused on personalities and witch hunts and these kinds of things. I mean, I don't know the truth in this situation, but I'm going to wait for the investigation to happen, for details to come out, and then we'll make a decision. But just not personally getting caught up. I don't spend a lot of time during my day investing in that. So I've got way too much to do. And then I got a family to raise and a community to reach, friends to love on. Got way too much to do. So praying for Ryan Walters, praying for the investigation and all those involved. And we'll let it take care of itself. In the meantime, I hope you're taking care of yourself and exercising self-governance, self-discipline. I hope you're looking at the realm in front of you that you can control. There are so many things that are out of our control. What are you going to do today about the national debt? Probably nothing significant. What are you going to do about Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve? And I mean, we can talk and complain and banter about ideas and discuss and debate. All that's good, but it probably won't change much. We can pray, that will change a lot. But then we can focus on what's in front of us, our family, our health, our businesses, our communities, those things that we touch and engage with on a daily basis, that we can change. And it really just comes down to deciding to do it. That's what I've come to a conclusion about regarding most things. I believe all things are possible for those who believe. And really, when we don't see results, we find good excuses. It's just the truth. So I would encourage you, as I'm encouraging myself this morning, to rid yourself of excuses and pursue real results and look for those things where you can put your hands to it and make a real difference today. Plant seed in the ground, and then don't get caught up on the timeline wondering why it didn't pop up out of the ground because you just planted it yesterday. Give it some time. Let it grow some roots. So plant some seed and then harvest some fruit for the seed you planted 20 years ago. It's the way it works. There's a season for everything. And I'm learning more and more about God's timing, that the things we do today are often not for us to see the fruit, but it's for our children and for later generations. But also we often pick the fruit of those who go before us, and we live with thanksgiving over that. But this morning I decided, I've been talking about, I live 4 miles from town, and I've been running, and I haven't told you guys all about this plan, but I am going to be running a lot this year. And I've been planning to run to town just to say I did it and to help with my training. And last night I got, 4 hours of sleep, and the night was way too short. Woke up, was not in the mood. This was, usually you plan something like this out because it's going to be about 8 miles, right? 4 miles to town, 4 miles back. And I just decided, you know what? I'm going to defy how I feel and just do it. Because you can keep on waiting for the right time, and the right time never comes. So you have to sometimes just go do it. So that's what I did this morning. I just ran to town and back, and wasn't fast. Took a few pauses to walk, but did it. And thankful I did. Now that thing is not so big. Now it's next time I think about running to town, I say, well, I've already done it once. Now I can improve time. I can run with better form. So many things. I need to start out earlier because I got back here with just a few minutes left to get dressed and get ready for this. So I want to encourage you, that thing you've been putting off, do it. Don't think about it too much. Don't over plan, but just go do it. Get it started. Don't delay. And then really consider the timing of God, that God is above time. And we often expect him to do something in a week, in a year, and then we're waiting 5 years later and say, God, why haven't you done it yet? Sometimes he says, well, I'm waiting on you. And sometimes he says, well, give it some time. Give it some time. And our time and God's time are not always the same. In fact, usually they're not, but that's where faith comes in. That's where trust comes in. So just want to encourage you in that area today. I want to remind you, Watanga is coming up tonight, and then September 6th is Oklahoma Rising Chickasha. We have the land settled. Did that yesterday. I'm excited about that. So for everyone on the email list, the newsletter, if you're not on there, by the way, just shoot me an email, jakeforthestate@gmail.com, jakeforthestate@gmail.com. I'll send you out a newsletter. I was wanting to send one out all week, but I thought, I'm going to wait until we have this land solidified. And so I'm going to send that out today with all of the details. And then it's going to be a mad rush to the event with a lot of advertising, and we have some creative ways we're going to do some promotions. But I went and picked up 100 signs yesterday, so we're going to be distributing those signs out and about. And if you need one, let me know. There's other people out there also making signs, and I'm sure you can get one. But if you need one, let me know. I have 100 of them. I can get one to you. jakeforthestate@gmail.com. You can also email info@jakemerrickforgovernor.com. And then you can check out jakemerrickforgovernor.com, the website. So lots of good things happening. Some I can't talk about just yet. Still want to solidify some things, but great things are happening in the campaign. and beyond, really. So I would like to do something and hear from you. Tell me what is happening in your life. And I really mean this. I'm interested in the victories that you're overcoming, the challenges you face. And when it comes to the state, what are your biggest concerns? I kind of had this quick little back and forth with some people on X the other day. I was talking about the impact of pornography on our culture. And I'll be doing an interview with Senator Dusty Devers on Monday covering that topic. And there was an assumption made by somebody that said I was wanting to ban pornography in Oklahoma. Now, that was not the reason for the post. The post was simply statistics on the impact of pornography on our culture and the percentage of our population that views it on a regular basis, how much time is spent in that, how much money is made in the industry. You can go to X and just look at that. I posted all those stats there. And it's really, troubling because it's one of the areas that we've become so obsessive and addicted, really. It is a type of drug, but also you have to understand scrolling stimulates the brain in very much the same way that viewing pornography does. So before we condemn pornography, well, I mean, we have to condemn pornography, but in doing so, also remember that there are other things like scrolling on social media. And because what it does, it just stimulates these endorphins and you get this subtle high and you become addicted to it. So then you can't concentrate. So you're over here trying to focus on something else, but there's this itch to go pick up your phone again. And that could be to look at pornography, or it could be to simply look at Facebook. And it's the same type of biological, psychological response for both. It's similar to the way that sugar has a very similar effect to your body like that heroin and cocaine does. So it's easy to demonize some of these things and then dismiss and disregard some of the more socially acceptable forms of addiction that in many ways are just as destructive. We have to watch it. Parents, we have to watch it. I noticed last night after church, we went out to eat. While we're sitting there, I looked around and there was a couple of families there. And the parents, mom and dad, were both looking at their phones independently. And the young children were kind of doing this. We have allowed technology to interfere with family dynamics and investment in our children. Now, was it some critical business decision they had to look at? Maybe it was. Most likely it was Facebook. Most likely it was passing the time until their food came out. Man, how much would it mean to their children if they simply put that away for 30 minutes and just sat there and engaged with their kids about what's important with them? So something to consider as we're talking about, the Ryan Walter story has prompted me to think more about the deeper issue of the prevalence of pornography in our culture. But then also what other things like social media provoke the same kind of response in our own bodies and minds that are in many ways just as destructive. Something to think about. Rebecca, I appreciate you saying, I'm concerned that we are about to start the school year with the highest number of emergency certificates. There will be over 5,600 uncertified teachers leading our Oklahoma classrooms. Wow, that is, I knew it was high. I didn't realize there were that many uncertified teachers in the public school. Now, here's what I'll say is we homeschool. We're not certified. And I believe that we are qualified as parents to teach our own children. But I do believe in the value of certification and the right education to become a public school teacher. I've talked to several that are either former teachers or are currently certified, not currently teaching. And the feedback I got from them, and I'd love to hear from you, Rebecca, as well, is it's about the environment that's keeping them. Two different things: the environment that is negative in the classroom and amongst the administration, and the pay. So those are the two areas when talking to teachers that are currently certified and not currently teaching, or retired. So some are retired and they were considering going back, but they were saying that it is the environment and the pay. And here's what I think. I think that the environment is probably, people are willing, I've seen, to take less pay for the right environment. And this is something I want to really focus on, is how do we foster an environment that is conducive to learning, but also welcoming to teachers and empowering to teachers, so that the teachers come in with control over their own classrooms for starters. And, that great education they got that certified them, let's let them put it to use. Now, I know in many places that is the case, but in a lot of school systems, it's not. Joyce, yeah, you said not all emergency certified are unqualified. And yeah, that's what I was saying earlier is, I don't think that the certification or the lack of certification always determines qualification, because there are brilliant people who are not certified. And like I said, we homeschool and we are qualified to teach our 10-year-old daughter. Maybe at some point she reaches a place where she needs someone to take her deeper. But I believe that an adult with common sense, experience, and a decent education can teach our children. But it is concerning. Why are those that have invested the time and money in this education to be educators, why are they not educating? What is the root issue of that? And I'd love some feedback, Rebecca, on that. So lots of areas in our public school that need to be addressed. And I always start at the top. Let's look at administration. How is it working well? How is it failing? The appropriation of educational funds. So I don't think that there's a lack of money there. I think that we have to look at how it's being appropriated. So Rebecca, just confirming what I just said, that those two issues are a huge contribution of why I'm not in the classroom, she says. And I hear your points on certification. I was emergency certified 15 years ago and homeschool myself. Yeah. So I don't think the focus needs to be so much on, are these uncertified, or these individuals with emergency certifications, are they qualified or not? We definitely need to make sure that they are qualified as far as like mentally capable, emotionally available, and able to teach the subject that they are entrusted to teach, for sure. But my bigger question is, why are those who have invested their time and money in education to become educators, why are they not educating? Why are they not in the classroom? What's keeping them from either coming or keeping them from staying? And thank you again for the comments about reading. I think you're right on. I've said about our girls, we taught our girls how to read very early, and they're very proficient readers, and almost obsessive readers. There's been times we had to, like, we had to ground them from books. That was part of their punishment. Is, okay, you can't read. We don't do a lot of screen time in our family, so it's been a lot of time reading. and they're very proficient readers. So I said, I'm not concerned about our girls because of how well they read. And man, reading can take you so far. So that is obviously an area that we are struggling, which is so interesting because I don't think it is that difficult to teach a child to read. I mean, I don't. I know there's different theories on how best to teach them, but it's as with most things. Honestly, the way you learn most things is by doing. And from a teacher's perspective, it's about being there and caring. I mean, some real basic fundamental things. And you look at those things that would hinder a teacher from investing in a student, like classroom distractions, overpopulation. I could see how that would prohibit a teacher from being able to really invest in these individual students and teach well. But fundamentally, I don't believe it's that difficult to teach a child to read. That's, of course, considering this child has no learning disabilities. If you add in dyslexia or something like that, obviously you're going to have other hurdles to overcome. But a generally healthy child, repetition, reading with them. Obviously, it's better with the lower student to teacher ratio. So teacher aides, I think, are a great benefit to the classroom. So, and I'd love to hear your thoughts, Rebecca. I mean, on the best ways to teach reading, because I know the recent discovery up at OSU about, and you may have to remind me of that method that was recently uncovered, that they were still teaching teachers that would then bring that method to the classroom, but basically it was teaching kids to guess at words, and rather than phonetically sounding these words out. So very concerning that was being taught at the university level, and then that would then be brought to the classroom. So I'm glad that was uncovered, and hopefully at our universities we can begin implementing a common sense way of teaching teachers how to teach reading the right way, the common sense way, sounding out letters, words, reading recovery. Yeah. It's so bizarre that is still happening. But again, I'd love to know your thoughts on that, Rebecca, on the best way to teach reading. And if you guys have some thoughts on education in general, what are you seeing? If you have a child in public schools, what are you seeing as far as the good and the bad? What is working? What is not working? So I've got appointments set up with a few different superintendents that I'm going to be sitting down with to ask them the same questions. And I want to hear from those that are engaged in the process, that have boots on the ground. What are you seeing? What is working? What is not working? I'm not a believer in standardized testing, of teaching to the test. I think that is an area that I would love to see changed in our public schools, and love to get your thoughts out there, Rebecca, and everyone else in the school system. What do you think about standardized testing? What is that ultimately producing? Because I don't believe it produces critical thinkers. I think it teaches kids how to regurgitate information rather than think critically. So just keeping up with the comments here. Give me your thoughts on that. I'd love to hear from you. jakeforthestate@gmail.com. If you can post it here on the comments, or you can email me directly. But either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this and education in general. So just a reminder here, if you're just tuning in tonight, I'll be at Watonga, Oklahoma, and 6:30 p.m., the American Legion building, and looking forward to a good time there. Then September 6th, we're having Oklahoma Rising Chickasha, and just locked in the venue, the property out west of town. It's going to be a great property. So we're lining up some events for that day, September 6th. But hey, I am looking at the time. I got started just a few minutes late, and I try to keep these broadcasts to around 30 minutes, give you some updates on what's happening with me and my campaign, and touch base with you to hear from you. So I have to get started with my day. I have a couple of construction projects. I'm wrapping up with Merrick Customized Construction. It's our construction company, building a building for a neat school. Go check them out. Speaking of education, look at look at how some of these alternative schools are doing things. Because man, I'm building this building for Redbud Farm School, and they have it on some property. They have chickens and pigs and goats, and they take their kids outside and learn in the grass, and they teach them about growing things, get them out into nature. I love that. I love that. Of course, they teach all of the fundamentals as well, but doing a lot of really good things at Redbud Farm School. So I'm just learning about it as I'm getting to know the owners, Aaron and David, better, and building this building for them. And man, we are pressed for time because school is just around the corner and we still have quite a ways to go to wrap up this building. So pray for this project. And I'm going to look for a way to get a link set up so you can donate to them. Just one area that I've discovered is a great cause. So I want to do this for them because I would love to see the facilities and everything they need to be provided. That's just my heart for them. And I'm sure there's hundreds of these around the state, but it's one I'm connected with. But check it out, Redbud Farm School. And wait, because I'm going to create a link. I'm making myself a note here. I was working on it this morning before the stream. I'm going to create a link where we can all jump in and raise some money. I mean, they're investing a lot in this new expansion, and praise God, they're growing. But I love what they're doing. And if you know of another school that is doing great things, new, creative, out of the box ways to educate kids, let me know, because I would love to visit with them. I'm setting up an interview with Erin to do a podcast talking about her school. So if you know of another one that's doing great things, let me know, because I'd love to do an interview with them. And maybe through exploring these different ways of educating, we could come up with a better way to do it here in Oklahoma. So, hey, God bless you guys. I'm just looking here. Just a few more comments. Rebecca, keep me informed on the reading techniques, what you see as far as the good and the negative in Oklahoma, and the rest of you as well. I'd love to hear from you. All right. God bless. I better hop off and get busy today, but I will see you back here tomorrow. Or if you're in Watauga, I'll see you in Watauga tonight, 6:30. See you then.